I'm William Target, and welcome to the Monaco edition of the Formula 1 Shame Report. Now, there I was on Sunday, on my yacht, thinking, this is going to be a slow week, halfway through the race. And then it exploded, and the second half of the race was thoroughly entertaining. Now, we've got a lot to get through, so let me remind you, teams and drivers, not to blame me if I call your name out. I didn't put you on this list, you put you on this list. Let it begin. Apple juice. At number 5, Fernando Alonso. The Spaniard just didn't seem quite with it this weekend. A poor 6 on the grid in qualifying translated into a sluggish performance on Sunday. He just seemed to fall asleep and lost places due to overtakes that should have been easy for him to defend. He was overtaken twice into the hairpin, a place on track where it's usually impossible to overtake, and he got done coming out of Rascas during the whole commotion with Perez's retirement. Yes, it was an opportunistic move by Button, but someone of Alonso's calibre and experience should have been wise to it and cut it off. It was overall just a very poor performance for the whole weekend from the Spaniard. Shame, Nando. At number 4, Romain Grosjean and Felipe Massa, who both made rookie mistakes, putting it in the wall in Monaco. Now, to be fair to Massa, the second time wasn't really his fault. I did feel sorry for him, seeing him sat by the side of the track with a neck brace on, but Romain Grosjean has no excuse. No one should be hitting the wall at Monaco that much unless you're me playing F1 on the PlayStation. I just cannot get Monaco on that game. I'm crap at it. At number 3, the McLaren duo of Jenson Button and Sergio Perez, who joined us this weekend for very different reasons. For Jenson, it's because, once again, he was a moany sod. It seems as though he thought he was going to be the top dog of McLaren this season, but he has a moan up every time Perez goes near him. As for Sergio, I was delighted when he turned his game around in Bahrain and started driving more aggressively, but he took it a bit far this weekend. After pulling off what was overtaken of the race, and maybe even the season so far, on his teammate into the chicane coming out of the tunnel, he bugged it all up when trying to make that same overtake later in the race on Kimi Raikkonen. He should have seen very early on that the move wasn't there. Just overall, should have been a better weekend for McLaren. And now for Get Out of Shame 3, which this week goes to Lotus. I know they had a bit of a rough weekend with Grosjean crashing all the time and Kimi having a bit of a bad luck in the race. But the reason they get out of Shame 3 this week is because, well, they're just so goddamn cool. They have Kimi Raikkonen, one of the coolest people on the whole planet Earth. They have an awesome Twitter account, and this weekend they had Daft Punk. And that Kimi Raikkonen guy who drives with them, turns out he's a bit good. A pit stop late on due to a puncture made it look like a points finish was out of the question, but he pulled off 3 overtakes in the last 2 laps to bring himself within a race of Michael Schumacher's consecutive points record. And he spoke his mind on the whole Sergio Perez incident, saying that he deserves a smack in the face. They may not have got lucky this weekend, but my god, they're cool. At number 2, Sky Sports F1. While the sequence at the race start with George the Poet was admittedly brilliant, the opening was awful. Watching their opening sequence, which was poorly thought out, not at all funny, and woefully acted, got me all nostalgic thinking about how great BBC's opening sequences were. I remember Jake, DC and EJ crammed into a tiny lift at the Monte Carlo casino. They were funny. And while Simon Lazenby doesn't infuriate me the way he used to, he's nowhere near as good as Jake Humphrey was. And Martin Brundle and Ted Kravitz showed with their acting skills why they were never used in the BBC's funny opening bits. Honestly, the whole thing just felt like an excuse to get Natalie Pinkham in a bikini. It wasn't such a bad thing after all. And at number 1, Max Chilton, who earned himself the brown paper bag of shame this week after he attempted to take the life of Pastor Maldonado, who for once was involved in a crash that wasn't his fault. Chilton showed a complete lack of spatial awareness in the car, which further went to back up my theory that anyone under the age of 15 simply should not be allowed to drive in Formula 1. As someone on Twitter pointed out, Chilton has got more money than sense. Imagine if that crash had been the other way round. Imagine if it had been Maldonado who had caused the collision. What would people be saying then? But no, because Chilton drives under the Union flag, no one wants to call him a paid driver, no one wants to say that he simply isn't good enough to be an F1. Shame. So there you have it. The Monaco Shame Report. Did I shame Vettel? I didn't. Okay. And I completely forgot about the Mercedes testing thing. Oh, well, I'll see you in Montreal, I suppose. Oh.